Have you ever noticed that when your plan to venture out into the city goes wrong, you come to realize the experience is not at all what you expected? Well, that's what Lincoln, Lori, and Ronnie Anne found out in the episode I'm going to talk about today. So join me as I, SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, bring you another retro review from past seasons of The Loud House. Cue the intro! Today's episode is City Slickers. In this episode, Lincoln and Lori go to visit Ronnie Anne and Bobby, with Lincoln noticing a change in Ronnie Anne's behavior and Lori struggling to be a city girl. This is the first episode to take place exclusively in Great Lake City since the episode Relative Chaos in Season 2, and to be honest, it's sort of a step down from what we got one season earlier. While I don't think the story and its two plots being predictable are what ruined the episode, they just aren't that engaging. The main plot focuses on Lincoln hanging out with Ronnie Anne and her new friends Casey, Samir, and Nikki. I don't have a lot to say about these three because they all come off as simply generic, and I originally thought they were just going to be a bunch of one-off characters. I mean, to be fair, this episode came out 1 month before the announcement of the spinoff, so you can understand why none of these characters really piqued my interest until the spinoff officially began. Honestly, they were just as uninteresting in the spinoff as they were in this episode, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, Ronnie Anne tries to prevent Lincoln from letting her friends know she moved from the more suburban country town of Royal Woods and wants everyone to think she actually comes from a big city. That's pretty much the running gag of the main plot. Every time Lincoln makes, or at least attempts to make, any reference to Royal Woods, Ronnie Anne cuts him off. She feels too ashamed to put on the Royal Woods sweater Lincoln got for her and gets mad at him for messing things up. Refusing to lie on her behalf, Lincoln decides to go back to Royal Woods, and of course before he has the chance to leave, Ronnie Anne apologizes for what she had done to not only him, but also to the city kids she was trying to impress. She comes clean about where she's really from, and her friends are not mad about it. The lesson is you don't have to lie to win over new friends, because if they're really your friends, they'll accept you for who you are and not care what big city or small town you were born in. Like I said, it's a very predictable story with a very predictable outcome, but it's not really bad. It's just not interesting. There's also the subplot with Lori trying to fit in as a city girl. Her little fantasy in the beginning was just adorable when she thought it was going to be all smiles and roses. It was an homage to the classic 1960s sitcom That Girl starring Marlo Thomas. However, in reality, Lori has a horrible time trying to be a city girl. Nothing goes right for her and she ends up looking like a complete mess. She cries to Bobby about her misadventure, and he comforts her by saying it'll take some time to get used to living in a city. To be honest, this is one Lori-centered plot I really didn't care about at all. It was just there. Like, I understand why she was trying to be a city girl, because she was going to move there in 1 year's time following the plan she and Bobby set up in Relative Chaos. She figured she might as well get in some practice. I get that, but still, her attempts to fit in at Great Lakes just didn't do it for me. Some of the more notable highlights of the episode included more cameos from the Casagrandes. They may not have done too much in terms of pushing the story forward, but they still had their moments, and hey, it's just impossible to truly hate these characters. They always say and or do something interesting or humorous on screen. Speaking of humorous, we got to once again see Carl trying to be a man wanting to impress his lovely gazelle known as Lori, only to get pushed back down to reality by being reminded that he's just a kid who has zero chances of ever getting with her. Like I said once before, he's everything Clyde McBride tries to be, and you can take that comment however you want. Overall, this episode isn't something you can truly hate since it doesn't really do anything bad, but it's one of those episodes that doesn't really offer anything worthwhile. The main plot with Lincoln and Ronnie Anne was very basic. Lori's subplot was only good when kept strictly in the realm of her own fantasy, and the lessons both she and Ronnie Anne learned from their respective situations are just okay at best. The Casagrandes got to make a few cameos, and the story does a good enough job of getting a glimpse into how Ronnie Anne and Bobby have been adjusting to their new life in Great Lake City. One last note I want to make regarding Ronnie Anne's character is that from this point forward, she's drawn with bags around her eyes. Much like Lincoln, it's a sign indicating the stress that comes with living with a large family. It wasn't necessary to add this little feature, but hey, with character development comes a few changes, and this is one of them. With that said, I give City Slickers a 7 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of City Slickers. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.